Do you consider yourself a Bill Burr fan? Because we're about to do a deep dive into his whole life, uncovering conspiracies, scandals, hidden stories, and much, much more you have never heard of. If you make it to the end of this video, you will not be able to look at Bill Burr the same ever again. So strap in for these 5 immense tiers about the life of Bill Burr. Tier 1. This is the top of the iceberg, and includes the most basic information such as Bill is a comedian. He was in both Breaking Bad and The Mandalorian, he is from Boston, and he is a college dropout. Tier 2. This is some of the most interesting and unique information about Bill that a true fan should know. Drums. One of Bill's hidden talents is that he's actually very good at playing the drums. It's a morning show. While on a news morning show, the presenter asks Bill about some comments he made about the Catholic Church, and with Bill being Bill, he decided to say this.
It's a morning show, I understand.
I
came on, that kid missed the graduation, and then it was a feel-good story.
It was a feel-good, and we want to leave.
If you want to feel good about America, you watch the morning shows. You don't watch this, you know?
The presenters really had no idea what to say. If you're bringing Bill onto your show, you have to proceed with caution. Philadelphia. One of the most iconic and best Bill Burr moments is when he was on tour in Philadelphia. The crowd was heckling and booing different comedians right from the beginning of the show. So when Bill got on stage after seeing his fellow comedians get booed before him, he decided to do this instead.
You fucking losers. Fucking Rocky is your hero. The whole pride of your city's built around a that doesn't even exist. The fucking Joe Frazier is from there, but he's black, so you can't deal with him. So you make a statue for some 3-foot fucking Italian, you stupid Philly cheesy jackasses. I hope that cheese melts your fucking faces off. All the suck a fucking dick.
Bill did a full 15 minutes, savagely attacking the crowd in Philadelphia as a whole. However, by the end of it, the hostile crowd completely turned, giving him a standing ovation.
Ass fucking Subway. And why don't you build something for Joe Frazier and get that idiot? You guys all gonna go see Rocky 19? Oh, good, I think you can win. Listen, I'm out of time. You guys were here, man. Thank you very much.
Hates women. One of the things Bill is best known for is his controversial jokes about women.
And there's no help out there for guys. There isn't. There's nothing out there to help you handle becoming rich and famous. There's nothing to prepare you for that platoon of whores that's gonna form on the horizon, right? Like Braveheart, faces painted, skirts on, will run down the hill, they'll jump on your in front of your wife. They don't give a shit. It's not even a handbook out there.
This has created a debate. His fans say it as a joke, whereas feminists truly believe he actually does hate women.
Oprah's on there, she's interviewing some Klein, you know. And she's giving her this big ridiculous intro, like she's done this, she's done that, she's done this, and she does the most difficult job on the planet. She's the mother. You know, like really? Being a mother is the most difficult job on the planet? Oh yeah, all those mothers who die every year from black lung, from inhaling all that coal dust. But these mothers are bending over at the waist, putting DVDs into DVD players. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. Dude, any job that you can do in your pajamas is not a difficult job. All right? Give me a break.
COVID masks. Bill is known for his quick comebacks, but one of the most famous is when he destroyed Joe Rogan on his own podcast when they were talking about C-19 masks.
Want people to walk down the street with a mask on?
Let's not start this, Joe.
Do you, though?
Let's not start this. Okay?
Let's start it.
I don't want to start this. I'm not going to sit here with no medical degree, listening to you with no medical degree, with an American flag behind you, smoking a cigar, acting like we know what's up better than the CDC. All I do is I watch the news once every 2 weeks. I'm like, mask or no mask? Still mask? All right, mask. That's all I give a fuck about. I don't care.
But even they say you shouldn't wear a mask unless you're treating a coronavirus patient. The World Health Organization.
Yeah, but they didn't say that initially. They didn't say it initially.
No, they didn't.
They did, and then it gradually, and then wait, and then everybody wore the fucking masks. This is like rollerblading. Everybody fucking rollerbladed, and then there was that one fucking homophobic joke, and then everybody acted like they never did it. And then 100 million fucking rollerblades got thrown into the fucking ocean. We all wore masks, and then all of a sudden, people are fucking sitting there. Well, you don't have the body type for it, dude. Your fucking knuckles would scrape on the ground, even with that extra 2 inches.
That clip is so popular that on the Joe Rogan subreddit with 1.3 million members, it is the most upvoted post on there. Grammys. Back in 2021, Bill was asked to co-present the Grammys. This was during the social distancing rules, so there was no crowd, just the production crew. And in typical Bill Burr fashion, right from the start, his first comment nearly got him canceled.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Bill Burr.
Okay, thank you, Janae. How are you? Was I the only one who wanted to kill himself during that piano solo? I bought a suit for this. I thought I was going to be on TV. I'm such a moron. I am losing so much money right now.
You can hear the camera crew laughing in the background. Well, this comment caused a storm on Twitter, which Bill would later reflect on.
You came out and said, if I listen to the guitar, the piano solo, I die, whatever the fuck. I was rolling when I saw that Monday morning. I lived for that.
I had a meltdown before I went in to go do that thing. I get freaked out by certain things that I feel are too big. Now I gotta go down there and wear this fucking monkey suit, so I was already freaking out. And like, as always, I build it up like it's gonna be fucking horrific and everybody's gonna hate me and I'm gonna have to go home and live with my parents again. And then I went in there and I had a ball. Dude, let me tell you something. The pre-Grammy show is where it's at. Dude, I was making the camera crew laugh. The other hosts were hilarious. We were over there just having a great time, man.
Despite causing a lot of controversy regarding his comments at the Grammys, Bill was fine and he survived the cancellation attempt. Hey, do you like tequila? I am sure you know Bill loves American football. Well, this is what one random fan who came up to him said at one of the games.
Hey, do you like tequila? Delicious tequila? Yeah. I like city tequila. I didn't ask you guys. I asked this guy. I'm standing in front of him. Do you want some of that?
Dude, that looks like a urine sample, dude.
That's classic. Can you get that in a
I would have passed a drug test for 9 years if I took that shot. I didn't know you got that. That's awesome.
You can tell from Bill's reaction that he was completely stunned, as I think most people would be. Jeans Guy. This is another hilarious story Bill told on the JRE podcast. It is animated by a guy called Stephen Bones Productions, who posted it on the Bill Burr Reddit, so credit to him.
Dude, I remember there was a fucking guy on the site. I swear to God, he wore the same fucking jeans every day with like no underwear, right? And it had a fucking giant fucking hole right here on his thigh. So I'm in fucking working in the house, and I just remember he stepped over something with his left leg, and the whole fucking hole moved right, just like flashed his fucking junk. I was just like, and I didn't know how to stand up to people. And plus, I was the new guy on the thing, and I just was wanting to be like, buddy, how about you put on some fucking boxers or something so I don't gotta look at your fucking junk. First of all, he's walking around with like a goddamn nail gun. Not like boxers could stop that, but any extra layer of clothing that you could have. This guy's literally like his fucking shit, like an owl looking out of a tree. And yet it's burned into my head. I could pick his junk out of a lineup, okay?
Sherry's Berries. This might be the funniest ad read of all time. It comes from one of the Monday morning podcast episodes over 10 years ago.
This might be the favorite name of anything I've ever advertised here. Sherry's Berries. Since the end of the year is all about delicious holiday food, why not send an extra special holiday treat to friends, family, business associates? Giant dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries for only $19.99. Berries are terrific and a sweet holiday gift. They also have delicious products such as Christmas cake pops, cheesecakes, and dipped pretzels. Here's the only way to get this special $19.99 Sherry's Berries offer. Call 866-FRUIT. I'm sorry. What the fuck am I selling? Did I approve this? This is fucking ridiculous. Who the fuck is gonna buy this shit? This is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Christmas cake pops, cheesecakes, and dipped pretzels. Call 866-FRUIT, everybody. Or even better, visit berries.com. Oh, punch drunk. You gotta see these enormous berries for yourself. I swear to God, this is the copy. Go to berries.com, click on the microphone, and type in Burr. Dip your berries in that. Don't wait now. Order some chocolate berries for the fucking person in your life. Oh, shit. I needed that. That was wonderful.
Now, it was no surprise that Sherry's Berries would stop sponsoring the podcast after that. Granny Wata. This is one of the most iconic moments to come out of the podcast. About 7 years ago, a fan emailed Bill to ask for some advice as the podcast had got him into some trouble with his fiance's family while they were playing a board game.
Hey there, Billary Burham Clinton. I fucked up, man, as you can probably guess from the subject line. As a little background, I'm getting married next month to my fiancée, who is wonderful. Love of my life and all that. We were visiting her family last night and playing board games, which we often do. Oh, Jesus. Uh-oh. What happened? Were you drinking? Did you get competitive? We were playing a card game with a bunch of characters. Everyone gets the same people, but when you use them is really the key to the game. There was a particularly powerful card I had held on to until the very last stage of the game. The character's name was Granny Wata. Granny Wata! It's the last round of the game, and everyone's going around revealing their card. I was last, and my plan had worked perfectly. As I went to reveal it, my inner Bill Burr took over, and I really got excited. I flipped it over. Oh, you did it! He goes, oh no. Oh no, he goes, I said, it's Granny fucking Water! Dude, you dropped the F-bomb? Oh my God, I wish I had podcast t-shirts. I'd send one to you.
This, unsurprisingly, got him into deep trouble with his fiancée and her family.
Silence followed as it echoed through the house. My fiancé's family were stunned. They're not super uptight people, but people just don't throw fucks around during a board game, you know? From there, it only got worse. My fiancée has listened to your podcast, so she knows I was imitating you. She tried to stammer out an explanation. Oh no, she had to explain away your behavior? Oh, dude. He goes, but it didn't really do anything. I also tried to apologize sheepishly. Then on top of that, that move gave me enough points to win the game over everyone. So I had to awkwardly mark my score, which made me the winner. Wow, dude. Oh, and you're getting married next month, so the fucking taste of this is still going to be in their mouth. He goes, we left almost immediately after, and of course I got yelled at all the way home. I knew I deserved it, so I didn't even put up much of a fight. That's your first good move in this story. Thanks, and go yourself. Sorry for the Hillary Clinton reference in the opener. I think she's a too.
The guy was getting married 6 weeks later after the incident, and would give an update on the situation.
He says, the story has good news and bad news. The good news is my fiance's parents were super cool about the whole thing. They initially thought it was really odd for me to yell like that without them knowing the context. But once
It was explained. My fiance texted them about it. It was no big deal. The bad news is that I mentioned that you read the letter on the podcast. Oh, no. You know what? You're one of those guys, dude. You just like stepping in shit. He goes, naturally, they wanted to listen to it. I thought it wasn't a big deal because they lived through the story and your commentary was hilarious. Everyone thought the story was hilarious. That is, until the PS. If you recall, I may or may have not called Hillary Clinton a... Oh, Jesus. That's right, you did.
The guy managed to dig himself another hole.
My fiance turned to me and said, did you write that with that look on her face? I knew I was fucked. So, Freckles, I did the only thing I could. I said, oh, sorry about that. I didn't write it. Bill's email screener guy did. Andrew did. He picks the emails each week, then writes the little opening line, pun, and then sometimes throws in a PS to make them more entertaining. Well, now, why would you write this? Because if they listen to this, you're fucked. And you know what, dude? I have no sympathy for you. So here we go. He goes, they bought it, so we just listened to the rest, and we're laughing again by the end. So I threw Andrew under the bus on that one. I'm going to repeat my only good move from the last story and just shut the fuck up about it forever.
There were no updates after this. I wonder if his fiance's family watched this episode in the end. Tier 3. Now we're starting to get to the point where most Bill Burr fans have never heard of this stuff before. This is where things begin to heat up. Frank's emotional stage. Bill is known for his tough Boston guy image. But many years ago, in 2003, he tells a story about the first time he brought a girl to meet his parents, and how in particular he was very nervous about his dad.
You know, not only had I never brought anybody home, you know, a girl home, and I was 30 years old, I'd never brought anybody home. Even like back in like first grade, like second grade, I mean, I had friends and shit, I just never brought them home. So I started thinking like, you know, how the hell did that start? You know, as we're basically driving up from New York to go to my house to finally meet my parents. So the whole time I'm driving back, my girlfriend coming up, all this stuff is like coming back, and I'm thinking, and I really get like all like I'm a 6-year-old kid again, like getting all nervous. It says, to Bill from Santa. And I'm like, what the fuck? Guy got me a goddamn doll. He came downstairs and he's laughing and shit, and he's making me take a picture. I'm like 6 years old and crying and stuff. And I'm thinking of this shit as I'm pulling into the driveway, and I'm like freaking out because I'm finally gonna bring somebody home to meet this fucking maniac. And I'm telling her, you know, I don't know how this guy's gonna be or whatever. So we walk into the house.
So Bill finally gets home with this girl, but he's about to have a very big surprise.
Candles and shit, you know, Christmas tree, it's all real nice, dim lights and stuff. She comes in, she meets my dad, and the dude is like totally normal. After me building this guy up the whole ride back, he's like fucking like, you know, that dude from Leave It to Beaver. He's like the nicest guy ever. He's all cordial. And I remember I'm just getting like pissed at the guy. Going, why isn't he being a dick? And she's sitting there like taking me aside going, he's the greatest guy. And he's I can't believe he's saying all that stuff. I was so pissed at the guy. I mean, I really hated him when I was growing up. To the point, I remember one time, he went out the driveway and he's running out to his car and he slipped and fell and broke his shoulder. And at that point, me and my brother so fucking hated this guy. When he came to the house, my mother's like taking care of him. We snuck out the back door to look at his footprints in the snow to see where he slipped and fell. And I'm telling you, we were laughing our asses off at this guy. Yeah, right there, that's right where he... Fuck, why couldn't I have seen that?
But then at the end of the story, Bill opens up and you can hear the emotion in his voice.
And I was kind of pissed. I was just looking at the guy going, why the fuck couldn't he have been like this, 20 years ago when I needed him to be like that? Rather than, being the way he was. But, I always want to talk to him about it, but we don't communicate, so I guess it is what it is. And that's my story. Thanks.
Bill hasn't mentioned if he spoke to his father about this, but just listening to it, you could feel Bill was really affected by it. Wife versus Trump. While at a UFC event, Bill's wife Nina did this to Trump. This went viral and caused a storm on Twitter. Bill gave his reaction a few days later.
They're always going like, you snowflakes, F your feelings and all of that. And then you make fun of Trump. They're like, oh my God, it's so disrespectful. It's like you're saying F Joe Biden. It's like you can't have it both ways.
How's your wife's hands doing these days?
Oh, they're fantastic. I love my wife. You know where you stand with her. Okay, the guy walked in the arena. Everybody cheered. She gave him the finger. Nobody got arrested. That's why this country's great. Everybody expressed themselves. Can we all be adults? I mean, I don't know about you, but I came there to go to the fights. I didn't know I was going to the Republican National Convention.
Moreover, this added to the debates between Bill Burr fans about them arguing if they like Nina or not, which we will cover later down in the iceberg as it leads to more darker conspiracies. Mushrooms. Bill took mushrooms and says it changed his life experience. He does not endorse them for other people, but he says it was very impactful for him.
Me in touch with why I became a comedian. Because I didn't have like a good trip. I didn't have a good trip, but in a good way. It let me know. It let me know why I always walked around saying I hate myself. I figured the whole...
You figured that out?
Figured it all out. I now know everything that I did, good or bad, my whole life. I know why I did it. I know why I drank the way I did, why it ended up getting out of control. I know the whole fucking thing.
All from that trip?
Yeah.
And is it simple? Like, is it ultimately something you go, that's
It was mind-blowing because it was right there, but because of pain and stuff, you just block it all out.
Bill is very open about his experience with mushrooms and has shared it multiple times in interviews and how beneficial it was for him. Patrice O'Neal beef. The late great Patrice O'Neal and Bill came up together in the New York comedy scene, and they were very good friends. Despite this, they did have a big public beef which resulted in them not talking to each other for 3 months. This is what happened.
We were doing this guy's show, and the guy was the second I walked into the studio, he was just giving me shit, and kept coming at me like that. So I thought it was like, okay, this guy thinks maybe I'm coming in from New York, so I think I'm better than him.
Yeah.
So I thought like this was some little hazing thing, like, okay, this guy's gonna break my for a couple of breaks, and once I show that I have a sense of humor about myself, he's gonna warm up. He never did. And in the middle of it, Patrice called in, and he accidentally cursed, and I'm giving him shit for cursing or whatever, but I'm doing it more in like that cellar, hanging out in front of the sound, you big stupid this isn't satellite radio, blah blah blah. Fucking hung up on him, and I didn't realize he hung up on him. But even then, I was just looking like, who gives a fuck? I didn't think it wasn't that big a deal. And the episode ended. After the episode, that's when me and Patrice first got into a fight, because I got off, and all it was a message going, yeah, that guy's a dick, man, give me a call. So I called him up, and I didn't realize that he was really upset by it. So I came at him in cellar mode. Yeah. And I was like, just kind of do this, and blah, 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 and then... And I go, he hung up on you, jackass, or something. And he was like a lot of people don't know, he was really a sensitive guy. So that's what started off. So then he goes on Opie and Anthony, and then that started the whole.
So that's the context. As Bill said this, then led to, as Bill said, Patrice and Bill going back and forth at each other live on the Opie and Anthony show.
Go on, Opie and Anthony. Where did the energy? The whole fucking thing on me. Now you see, right now, I feel 10 times shittier, 10 times shittier now than I did on Mancow. Now, do you know me, Billy? You know me. That I'm not going to take somebody's fucking shit. So, if you get on the phone and go, yeah, Patrice, Buddha, da-da-da-da-da, and I'm going, what? And then you go click, and then tell me I bombed? No, Patrice, you fucked that interview up from the get-go. Right, when I said shit. He snapped on you, dude. When I said shit. And Patrice, I never said that guy wasn't a dick. He was one of the biggest. The second I walked in, he was fucking trashing me. What I'm pissed about... Anybody listening to this conversation knows what happened. How could they know what happened? The first half... Because I'm telling them what happened, and you're corroborating it with your screaming. Patrice, the first half of the fucking phone call got dumped. There was no half of the phone call, you Patrice, it was a 30-second phone call. A half of a phone call means if the phone call was a minute, 30 seconds of it would have been me. You understand? That's why you yelling. Half of a phone call means. It was 5 seconds. That guy was a...
I never said he wasn't a dick, Patrice. I'm just saying, if you run into a guy and the dude's a fucking dick, I'm trying to you out, and then all of a sudden I get like 200 emails saying that I'm an asshole, so I'm saying you're full of shit.
With dicks. You don't need to help me with... You don't give me a fucking... any motherfucking reference point on how to defend myself verbally. I know what I'm doing. I taught you how to do the shit. What? Yeah, you laughed that off. I taught you, Billy.
Oh, you did?
So you don't give me like fucking, you don't tell me, hey, yeah, man, cow.
He trashed your show and you had no comeback, and then
you gotta defend yourself against man cow. I don't need you to tell me that. All I need is man cow to put me on the phone with him, give me the proper opportunity.
As mentioned, this was only a small blip in their great friendship. In fact, the next time they spoke together was after Bill's Philadelphia incident, Bus Bash. Back when Bill was on the come up in New York with other guys like Kevin Hart, Patrice O'Neal, and Jim Norton, Bill took one of the biggest verbal beatings ever.
Patrice, who started that Bill Burr beating? Who started that Bill Burr bus beating?
Oh, you know what it was? I'll tell you what it is. Jim Norton is really, you got to be careful, because another thing, Kev is like this too, and I think it's that Napoleon complex thing. Bill was talking about something, and Jim said something, and Bill said something to Jim, and Jim didn't like what Bill said to him. Like, he said it was going to be embarrassing, and Jim was going to get a fucking beating for what happened, and I forgot what it was. But Jim goes in front of me, Kev, Keith, and I think it was another guy.
Bob Kelly. Bobby was there for the bus beating.
It was Kelly, but it was me and Lil Kev that was giving the beating with the bus. But Norton goes, at least I'm not performing on a bus.
That's right. I did not remember that. No, that's right.
So for context, Jim Norton had found out that Bill Burr was performing on a bus that was taking people to an American football game. Bill had taken the gig because it meant he got free entry to the game.
Right, because Bill was going at it with you, Jim, and he hit you with something. He hit you good, and we were about to attack you. You're right, but we were about to jump on your ass.
Jimmy had an atomic bomb.
And Jimmy had it in his back pocket. I did not remember that.
A neutron bomb.
Nice. What? I remember that. We said
what? Great deflection.
There was 3 beatings, 4 beatings of all time, and I'm telling you, Norton was a part of two of my biggest laughs in the rest of my life. But this bus beating,
bus beating is legendary.
Of Kev, because what happened is you feed Kev the important lines, and he would just make it he would take it to the next level. And what the whole thing was for an hour was, well, what happens if you start bombing? And then where do you come from and where do you go when you finish?
We said, where did you just sit down from? We said, where did they bring you up from? We said Bill was behind the bus driver, Bill Burr. And he just takes a step out. Hey. He was just sitting in the front seat. There's no way for him not to know that he was the comic. We was like, how do you sneak on stage, Bill?
Oh my God.
They said if he started bombing, what he would do is go, after one took bombs, he just look out the window and go, if you look to your left.
Oh, shit.
That sounded like a brutal beating. But in hindsight, it probably helped Bill develop his quick wit and comebacks that he's so well known for today. Destroyed by a heckler. Bill is known to destroy hecklers when performing stand-up. But one time, Bill got reversed by a heckler.
I was bombing at this place, used to be called Mixed Nuts. It's now called the Comedy Union. And I was up there, and dude, when I tell you 5 minutes of straight silence, dry mouth, in the middle of one of my jokes, I'm meandering in this long setup for something else that's gonna bomb. This big black lady in the back, just out loud to nobody, just sort of looked around this way like, I ain't laughed yet. And the whole place exploded laughing. And
I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know I had to address it. I kept trying to do my material, and then they were just laughing at me trying to do my... It was fucking humiliating.
Damn, that sounds brutal. But I guess it is these tribulations that all great comics need to go through. Why are you going to Indianapolis? This is possibly the greatest Bill Burr story on JRE. It comes from episode 343 back in 2013. This is the animated version of the story. The full video is linked in the description.
I had a incident on the airplane going to Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
Where this guy, like, I don't know, this guy just started like interrogating me. He thought I was some sort of flight risk.
About what?
I don't know. He was on something. I didn't know if he was a sky marshal, but he ordered a Dewar's in the beginning and he just slammed it neat. Ooh. So I'm like, this guy's not a sky marshal. This guy's boozing it up. But just sitting there. And he just says, he goes, hey, are you afraid to fly?
Oh, God.
And I'm like, what? He goes, are you afraid to fly? I go, no, I'm not afraid to fly. And he goes, is you sure? Because, you know, it's okay. You can tell me if you are. And immediately I'm looking at this guy. What do you mean it's like, okay? What is this, like, interrogation 101, build a relationship with your subject thing that you're doing here? And I was just like, no. He goes, he goes, all right, because, you know, he's just kind of fidgeting and looking around. But, you know, you can tell me if you're afraid to fly. So now I'm just like, dude, I'm not afraid to fly. It's like 5 minutes of silence, more passengers are getting on. And then the guy goes, hey, you know, I'm sorry, man. I just got off on the wrong foot there. Right? He goes, my name's so-and-so. What's your name? Asked me, like, what my name is. You know, but right. I didn't think of one. I just went, it's Bill. And he goes, oh, cool. He goes, why are you going to Indianapolis, Bill? He started doing this shit. And I just look at the guy, and I go, I'm like, yeah, I don't have to answer your questions.
Whoa.
I don't. He has no fucking authority. You're not a sky marshal. You're drinking booze. You're an asshole. What are you on? Are you afraid to fly? Go f*** yourself. Leave me alone, right?
From here, the story only escalates.
Why are you going to Indianapolis, Bill? Right? He says this, right? And they close the doors. Just started smirking like Ryan Gosling. You know, he does that little Mona Lisa smile. You just kind of smile. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head at the guy, right? And I'm literally taking out my eye pillow. I wear like a mask just to say I'm so not worried about anything that you're going to fucking do. All this passive-aggressive shit just to piss this guy off. And he's going, why are you going to Indianapolis, Bill? And I just kept, I didn't say anything to him. I just kept laughing, just kept shaking my head. And was taxiing down. And he goes, dude, he goes, I fucking do this for a fucking living. He starts F and all this stuff. The lady in front turns around, starts looking, and we're taxiing down the thing. He goes, you don't answer my questions right now. I'm going to hit that call button. I will hit that call button. I will stop this plane, and you will be fucking arrested. Like, saying all this stuff. And I'm just looking at him, smiling, shaking my head, like, go ahead and push it, dude. Let's see where the goes. This is going to be hilarious.
And then this guy really did press the button.
He hit the button. I'm like, holy fuck, he hit the button. This is hilarious. And I'm just sitting there. He goes, now you wait. You fucking wait. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there smiling, shaking my head at him like, dude, I don't care. I don't care. You're not, you have no authority. So then the stewardess comes over and she goes, yeah, what's the problem? He goes, this guy is a flight risk. I am not comfortable flying with him. Blah, 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 blah. And was like, all right, did anybody else see any behavior? And the lady was sitting in front of him, pointed at him and said, yeah, he was berating, and she pointed at me. He was berating him. And I'm just like, perfect. So I'm literally putting my fucking eye mask down as I'm talking to him, just going, hey, I'm just a guy trying to go to Indianapolis.
Eventually, the stewards realized that this guy was on something and left him alone. But he was not finished with Bill.
They checked with him. Like, you gonna stand down, sir? Like, whatever fucking spy he thought he was. So now we get back in line. And we're taxiing, and as we're going down the runway, I got my eye thing on. And I'm just sitting there, and he's yapping in my ear. He goes, you think this is fucking over? You think this is fucking over? And at this point, I'm laughing. I'm holding my stomach, and I'm fucking laughing, and just driving him nuts, and I'm having a fucking ball with this guy. And he goes, you know, my dad's the CEO of some company in Indianapolis, and he starts saying that he's going to have me fucking arrested when I land. And he started describing the view I was going to see from the jail, like some Law and Order episode. 5 minutes of silence, 10 minutes of silence goes by. And I'm finally thinking that maybe this shit's over. Or is he just sitting there staring at the side of my head? And then all of a sudden, I just hear, right as I'm starting to nod off, I just hear, why are you going to Indianapolis, Bill? And I just laugh.
Then this crazy guy fell asleep for the rest of the plane journey, and that was the end of the story. Tier 4. This is where things start to get really dark and conspiratorial. This serves as a taster for what is to come in our final tier. Fleshlight. Back in 2010, Bill went on the JRE podcast for the first time on episode 26. However, Bill was unfamiliar with the podcast's sponsor.
It didn't even air, and somebody
Before we
still
even
put it up there.
start talking about anything, we're sponsored by the Fleshlight. This is a Fleshlight. Have you ever seen one of these, Bill Burr?
A flesh-colored flashlight?
No, this is the thing you...
I don't know what that was.
You don't even know what it is. Bill Burr's like,
what is that?
You fuck it. That's the butthole version.
It's patented rubber technology.
Jesus, Phil.
Really?
Put your finger in it. Put your
No,
finger in
dude,
it.
sex toys freak me out.
Okay, you jerk off though, right?
Huh?
I mean, I assume, right?
Constantly.
Okay, now why wouldn't you
I had
get
a good one
of
on the way up to your house here.
It's also funny to see the evolution of the JRE podcast. Getting sponsored by a fleshlight company today would be wild. Thanks. One of the conspiracies Bill really does push is the one about banks.
The whole banking thing, and I even say to people who aren't like into so-called conspiracy theory, it's just really like, you know, after watching the banks and what they've done over the last couple of years, if you actually believe that the government is above them, I just don't know what to say to you. It's like clearly that the government is like middle management.
As Bill genuinely believes this, one thing he has done for a while is try not to use a bank card, but instead pay in cash for everything.
So I guess my question to you is, do you think that this is just a way for paper money to be turned into numbers on a computer? Is it really easier to have my money directly deposited in a bank or on some debit card rather than me going to the bank and physically getting my money? If I may use your reference about if your iPod crashes and all your songs are gone, but if you physically had the CDs backed to back it up, then you will be okay. Did any of that make sense? Not the way I'm reading it. No, I'm just saying I would rather get the physical checks than to be doing things online, but I guess that's just the way they do it. Yeah, dude, that's brutal. That's fucking brutal. See, what they're doing is they're forcing the herd into a direction, so when guys like me don't play ball with that, just out of numbers, I'm going to have to play ball. The same way with those automated machines. Everyone's going to start using them, and then there aren't going to be any cashier people, and then I'm going to be...
Bill was really ahead of his time with this one. He was switched on to this stuff more than 10 years ago.
The whole thing's a fucking scam. It's all a scam, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to phase out cash. So there'll be no way for you to ever, like, everything you do will have to be reported. They'll know where all your money is at all times. And then not only that, they're going to have all your money at all times. I don't even know how to, it's so fucking huge. I never know where to begin to try to explain how little that I understand about this. It's just let me put it this way. The amount of money that you've made in your life, how much of it have you actually held in your hand? How many times have you gone out and you work all week, and then they just type some numbers on a piece of paper, and then you know, the check, and then you just go down to the bank, and then it just becomes this number on a computer screen. The amount of number that's money that's out there versus the amount of money that's actually printed versus the amount of money that actually has gold behind it, it's fucking terrifying. It's the biggest fucking scam, I think, in the history of the world.
Rants like this are what has given Bill the reputation that he's switched on within the conspiracy community. Opie and Anthony beef. Despite Bill having many great moments on the Opie and Anthony show, Bill would often get into heated arguments with Anthony, and one of the most defining was when Bill addressed Anthony's racist remarks.
You know, it's horrible. He produced 21 fucking kids who really aren't going to have a father.
No.
Who are going to, you know, then do what the fuck he did, unless they go to therapy.
No, this is...
and learn that it's wrong.
It's not going to be...
Yeah, it's not.
It's not going to be changed.
And you can't sterilize people. Do you even know 90 people's names?
Yeah, was it somebody who is maybe from a background that is stereotypically known to procreate at a ridiculous rate?
I think you're kind of in your own... You're in your own league when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you... India, a bunch of people over there have like fucking 12 kids.
India,
you know? I mean, we can steer it into the black neighborhoods again like you always like to.
All right. Let me do that now by commenting on a video clip I saw yesterday.
Anthony.
What? No.
You know what you're like? You're like me when I was into conspiracy theory and all I did was read shit that supported my opinion. I already had my mind made up and I was like, see, there you go.
No.
And after a while I realized I was a moron. But for some reason, Anthony, you never had that moment of clarity.
Shortly after this, Anthony got fired from the Opie and Anthony show for posting racist comments on Twitter, and this only caused Bill and Anthony's relationship to worsen. Anthony and Gavin McInnes would say this.
Life's anger at white women is basically just based on hair jealousy. Yeah, that's really the crux of it. Yeah,
black women.
She has to go there and get all that shit done, and the weaves and the ironing and that ow with the kink. Yeah. And she was like,
And
they
white
just
women
fucking
wake
walk
up
down
and
the
they go,
street. They're ready to go out. Ready to go out. Look like a model. I could go to a salon and make it way better. Right. With like, amazing. I could Farrah Fawcett it up. Right. Or on a laundry day, I'll just have perfect long hair. Yeah.
On top of that, Anthony's fans attacked Bill's wife racially on Twitter.
He just told me that his wife had made it so he could not work with me again in the business, as they say. So, I don't know if that has anything to do with some cryptic Dave Chappelle mob stuff, but it kind of painted Bill in a bad light of, tell your wife to shut up and tell her I'll hang out with whoever I want to, but...
This all led to this incident, when they were both at the Comedy Cellar in New York for the Patrice O'Neal benefit, where Anthony tried to speak to Bill, and this is what happened.
Did attempt to have some words with Bill Burr. I was going over there to be sincere, to try my best to, as Bobby Kelly said, bury this shit with Burr. I said, Billy, what's up? How you doing? Damn! Whew. Now I'm starting to think maybe this was not the best move. His dude wasn't dude. It was dude. Like, will you talk to me after the you said about my wife? Hey, Bill. First of all, the fans are the ones that kicked that whole fucking thing off.
And then, out of nowhere, Bill's security came.
When I was up there chatting, trying to bury this shit with Bill Burr, his security guy, Club Soda Kenny, quite literally threw me out of the Comedy Cellar. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He chest bumped me out of the fucking place. I was not worthy to bury the shit with Bill Burr.
So it's safe to say that they are probably still on very bad terms with each other. RSS feeds. Back on episode 91 of the JRE podcast, there's a legendary argument between Bill Burr and Redban.
A lot of controversy with this Stitcher app.
Yeah, they just sort of...
Apparently people are getting...
I love Stitcher, and I back it up 100%. I think it's fucking awesome being able to go in your car and just be able to choose podcasts and listen to them automatically, streaming
Well, this is the problem I had. They just took mine, never told me, and then were selling advertising, and they were making fucking money.
Whoa.
Which is, that's not fucking cool.
You don't think there's a problem with that, Brian? That you're providing free content and they're selling advertisement on it?
No, I have no problem with it.
How come?
Because they're offering a service. They're offering, if my listeners want to drive around and be able to stream my show, I'm not offering that on my website. So let them do it. And
I offer it on my website.
How do you drive around? So you have to stream it through the internet?
You can stream it. You can stream it off your mobile phone.
No, you go to iTunes and look at. This is the thing about.
That's what I'm saying though. You can't do that. If you're driving in your car right now and you're like, I want to listen to Joe Rogan's podcast from 4 weeks ago.
You're streaming something that I created. You got to kick me money for that. You can't just take. They're not just streaming. That'd be like if I started a radio station and I started playing music. Let me finish. And I didn't pay anybody. I didn't pay any of the musicians.
But they're not putting advertising in the show.
Yeah, they are.
This back and forth between Burr and Redban went on for a few more minutes while continuing to escalate.
So I'm going to comedy right now. I'm typing in comedy. Now I'm going to comedians. Here's comedians right up here. Now there's a little banner that pops up at the very bottom. But
that little banner makes money.
Death Squad, I'm at the very top.
That little banner makes money.
I know, but Facebook makes money off of you, but you're on Facebook. Are you going to sue Facebook and pull off your stuff off Facebook? That makes shitloads of money.
But wait a minute. If he had a blog and they copied his blog entries and put it on Facebook and then started selling advertising.
I chose.
Well, you chose to be on Stitcher, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they asked you.
No,
they didn't ask you.
That's the whole point of what he's saying, Brian, is that they copied his shit.
I chose to be on Facebook, and I choose what I put to go to put up. I did not choose to be on Stitcher. Stitcher took my shit and put...
See, no advertisement before it. This is me talking.
Okay, Brian, he's talking.
Yeah, dude. You know, it's like I'm trying to explain it. We had it right there, and you're so convinced of your argument. I mean, if you're totally convinced of your argument, I'll just stop. People are going to Stitcher.
So you have a problem with YouTube too, then? Do you have videos on YouTube?
Dude, this is one of these guys. Like this is one of these guys where it's just like you can't make a point because he's already he's already thinking of his next point, and he just wants to be right.
No, I'm just saying that's what RSS feeds. If you don't want your shit like distributed and like made money off it, like you don't have an RSS feed on your website. RSS feed on your website is for other websites to grab and use your content.
No, it's not. It's to get shit for free.
And applications.
No, it's to download shit for free. It's something that allows you to keep up with people as they put out podcasts. They go to your iPod.
Stitcher does. Stitcher grabs your RSS feed and repackages.
No, it doesn't. Brian. It copies your MP3. You're wrong.
And it gets
it copies your MP3 and then sends it out through its own application and has advertising on its application.
You are 100% wrong, and there's no way to convince him because he's totally convinced of his argument.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally convinced of it.
Well, Brian, the point is...
Dude, we're not saying you're a bad person. Look at you looking down in your lap, you're sulking.
You cannot... Listen.
Then, finally, after 20 minutes of arguing, it culminated in this.
Brian, they're making money off something that's available for free. You can't do that. You can't make money off someone's content.
Making money off
Wait a minute. All right, let's go. Let's go this route. All right.
Why are you talking?
Wait a minute. I'm trying not to.
You injected
because you have like this stuck-up attitude. Like
no, I don't have a stuck-up attitude, man. I understand.
Dude, I watch NFL football on fucking NBC. I watch NFL football. I'm not allowed to record that and then go send the fucking game out to other people and make money off of it.
They give it out for free.
Brian, stop repeating yourself.
No, it's like the fucking
That's why I'm trying to fucking stop talking about it.
What you say has already been refuted by both of us. We both know exactly what an RSS feed is. Yes, and it sells.
So their services is
and people see that because they want to listen to Joe Rogan.
Brian, stop repeating yourself.
All right, then stop asking me questions. I can't fucking talk anymore about something because you guys don't understand what I'm saying.
You are yelling like a little child.
No, we understand. You guys are both attacking me and saying
we just disagree with you, and we're using logic, and you're getting angry about it.
What makes this clip even more legendary is that in a later episode, Brian Redban goes on the computer to bring up Bill Burr's Twitter and gets a pleasant surprise.
Even the way he high-fived was hilarious. Mine was somehow, I went up to I went up to Godfrey and said some really white shit to him as Greer Barnes was standing there delivering a package. Like, dude, hey, I took a recommendation. Something like Gosford's Park was hilarious. Some really stupid white movie.
As you can see, Redban finds out he's been blocked, which Joe and Burr are oblivious to. I wonder if Bill still has Redban blocked to this day. Fingerprint surveillance. Another conspiracy theory Bill has spoken about is fingerprint surveillance.
Come on, people. Don't give Delta Airlines your fingerprints. All right? Please don't do this, people. Please don't give into this. Don't go to Tiger Stadium and give them your fingerprints so you don't have to stand in line for a fucking pretzel, you fucking dope. And please don't be dumb enough to think, well, dude, my credit's fucked. Good luck if somebody steals my identity. Dummy, they're going to create a false credit report. All they need is the Lee Harvey Oswald to pin it on, which will be you and your fingerprints, you fucking dope. Yeah? You know, in the future, there's going to be a knock on the door, and they're going to question why you killed a hooker in the Ukraine. And you'll be like, I've never been there in my life. Oh, yeah? Your fingerprints were. Here's the story of a person who didn't kill a hooker. Now he's getting banged in the ass in the Ukraine because he left his fingerprints at the ballpark because he wanted a Coors Light. All right, sorry.
For context, here Bill is talking about how if you just give your fingerprint away and it's scanned, the powers above in the future will use it for whatever they want. Burt beef. Bill and Burt Kreischer used to have a popular podcast which started in 2019 called the Bill Burt Podcast. However, the podcast had an abrupt end in 2021, with the final episode being with Dan Le Batard. Fortunately for us, Dan and Burt have recently addressed what happened since then.
Serious, you invite me on and we blindside Bill Burr during a barbecue and he was mad about it and that's it? It ended a popular podcast?
I thought it would go so much better. He was, you know what's so funny is it was the second to last time I've spoken to Bill.
Oh no.
Ended a friendship.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Bill. We have not talked in a while, but I'll always be friends with Bill. I love Bill. I respect him. But man, that was a ornery
interview. Like I think what was happening was he was grilling out with his family and forgot that we had a podcast, and so when he came in and had to miss the grillings, I think that's what's happened. I don't know exactly, but I know that I cut back and I jump in at wrong times, and I was like, I just should shut up.
So basically, Bert announced randomly that they had a podcast one day with Dan Le Batard, while Bill was having a barbecue with his family, which understandably frustrated Bill. What makes it worse is that Bill would get into an argument with Dan Le Batard, as Dan had claimed that everyone in Boston is racist.
Oh, and we have a wonderful guest who already came in hot. The real hot take about the city of Boston. Oh, the white people love when white people f*** up in Boston, because then they get to act like they're not racist and there's no issues in name Maybury. Live from the Andy Griffith Show, but up we got Dan f***ing Le Batard. Go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead. What do you mean?
Go about how woke you are.
No, you came on the podcast here. We interrupted you. You were grilling and you didn't want to stop grilling. And now you're on the podcast. And by way of saying hello, I just said that you seemed a little upset today because we had interrupted your grilling, and also because the city of Boston had lost the moral high ground after throwing a water bottle at the very end. They had done so well. The bar was so low, Bill.
Bill only got more annoyed, and Bert's comments did not help the situation.
Because I'm not saying Boston isn't fucking racist, but this fucking bullshit that white guys like you try to do, that racism exists only in the South and in Boston, Massachusetts, is a crock of shit. I've been on the road for 30 fucking years, and the fucking shit people have said to me, and because I got my wife, I got to go home to her and all of that shit, I had to learn how to fucking navigate like knowing the N-word was coming, and that happened to me in every fucking state. Maybe a couple of cities. So don't come at me, Dan, with Boston. They're making all white people look bad. Get the fuck out of here.
For the record, Dan Le Batard's Cuban, and they are way more racist than white people.
Who came at you? Nobody came at you, and I know America's racist. I believe.
Well, then stop with this fucking horse shit.
On top of this, Bill was already very busy, and Bert is often annoying. So Bill probably just spent too much time with him, resulting in the end of the podcast, and Bill and Bert only talking once more after this. Reverse anti-vax conspiracy. So I'm guessing most of you know about the anti-vax conspiracy. Well, this is Bill Burr's interesting take on it.
People that are upset about a lot of things these days, people are arguing about whether they should get vaccinated or not. Have you gotten vaccinated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm up for it, too. I'm like, if they're trying to kill me, which doesn't, that conspiracy, I love a conspiracy, doesn't make any sense.
You don't think the anti-vax conspiracy lines up?
That they're secretly trying to kill all of us for population control? No, because what they would do, they would be killing all what they call the sheeple. So all the people can be like, all the people that go, what are we supposed to do? Okay, they're gonna kill us. Right. And then just be left with all the Fonzies with their leather jackets who don't want who are too cool to listen to people. Like they got a nightmare. Who's gonna dig their ditches for them? So yes. It just doesn't make. I mean, if you want to say that they're gonna come up with something to thin the herd, I will go with that. But they would never do a pointed attack on people that are gonna do whatever they say.
Yes. They're eliminating the wrong group if this is the plan.
So maybe they vaxxed us sheeple, so then they can have a second vaccine of COVID thing come out to kill all the cool people that hit a jukebox and it turns on.
Now this has divided many people. Some say Bill is spot on. Others say that Bill is just sowing more confusion and chaos as he has already been compromised by the New World Order. Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin was an actor and comedian who was on JRE 3 times, but he went off the rails when he took some of Joey Diaz edibles live on the Church of What's Happening Now, and he has since gone completely off the grid. Here's him talking about Bill Burr, who was apologizing about white people being racist.
Bill Burr can go himself. He's funny as fuck, and I like him as a person. He's a conspiracy guy in a lot of ways. George! He apologized on behalf of white people last Rogan. At this point, that's almost unforgivable for me. If you apologize for mine and my family's race, and I'm even mixed race kike spick according to actual Nazis, no, Bill Burr. You gotta understand. Hey, stop it. You're staying. You're not allowed over there anymore. There's no virtue and loyalty to people who sell out your family's fucking race. No, Bill, you don't get to say, I'm sorry for me. I'm not guilty of shit for having white skin, you racist, redheaded. It's like, dude, I have white kids. On behalf of, like, apologizing for white people? No, there's good people and bad people. Never, ever, ever do that again. And no, just because he's had some funny specials and sometimes he used to get it with some things and he's still probably funnier than 90% of the comedians. Don't ever apologize on my racial behalf, you redheaded.
It seems, though, that these two never had much of a relationship, and Bill has not addressed this or Owen Benjamin since. Tier 5. This is the final tier. After you finish watching this, you will never look at Bill Burr the same again. Cuck. There is a rumor that Bill's wife Nina cheated on him. There is this photo where the guy in the photo is gay, but his wife is doing questionable activities for a married woman. However, in the depths of 4chan, there is a much more sinister conspiracy. Someone wrote a post claiming that he knew Bill's family and that Nina got pregnant with another man. Apparently, Bill requested a paternity test and Nina kicked him out of the house. After that, her brother said to Bill not to mention a paternity test again or he will kill him. Also added to the fact is that we have never seen a photo of what Bill's child looks like, which has added fuel to this conspiracy. Hillary Clinton's satanic hobby. While on Late Night with Conan O'Brien during the 2016 presidential election, Bill was asked about Hillary Clinton, and in true Bill Burr fashion, he replied with this.
What do you think his presidency is going to be like? You know, a forecast for us. What's it going to be like?
I have no idea. I have no idea. All I know is the other one used to go to those Bilderberg meetings, you know, where they'll dress up like yaks and have those eyes wide shut parties. So I didn't know what she was going to do.
Wait, Hillary Clinton?
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
That meeting they have underneath the mountain.
What are you talking?
This caused a stir within the conspiracy community, as Bill was bringing light to the Bilderberg meetings.
Forget the G7. If there's one party leaders want to be invited to, it's Bilderberg. That's where world leaders from politics to industry discuss. Well, we have no clue what they discuss because Bilderberg is an invite-only, ultra-secret conference where the press is not allowed, no minutes are released, and security is super tight. But to whet conspiracy theorist appetite, they are kind enough to release the guest list.
Of course, this screams conspiracy, and who really knows what's discussed there? But one thing we do know is that Hillary Clinton is a regular attendee of these meetings.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you
Can I ask you a quick question while you sign that?
Sure.
It was reported in June of 2006. You attended a meeting in Ottawa, Canada, the Bilderberg Group. Can you comment on that? What's going on at the Bilderberg meeting, and what do you guys talk about up there?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. I was reported you were up there, and people saw you up there. I just want to know what you guys talk about and meet about up there.
Sir, I don't know.
Why are they such top secret?
Let's hope the guy who asked these questions is still alive. But this is more evidence that Bill is switched on to conspiracies and aware of the potential New World Order. Baby Bird. This is a wild and disgusting story. In 2006, at the grand finale on the Opie and Anthony's, after the eggnog challenge where basically someone had to drink a bunch of disgusting stuff, this is what happened.
Yeah, that's fine.
People are calling from all over America. They've been puking all over the place.
75.
Just about every city in America. And in Canada, thanks to XM.
He's just drinking now. He's up to 76.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Here it goes.
The baby bird is going down!
The baby bird, it's happening.
The baby bird is happening! Oh my God!
That was the greatest moment in radio history, period. How can you top that? Trust me on that. How can that be topped? We are announcing our retirement. That is it. How can that be topped? Now, Joe. That can't be topped. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. Oh God. I cannot believe I saw that. That's the worst thing ever. I was filming it on my camera because it was like Zapruder.
This was called baby birding, where someone had to throw up in someone else's mouth. Bill was there live when this happened, and he spoke about how disgusting the whole thing was years later with Joe Rogan.
You were like the only thing that could top this. For those who didn't see it, it's such a brilliant idea. It was the eggnog drinking contest, and you had to do a double shot like it was bourbon, but it was eggnog, like every 30 seconds.
Well,
and the returning champion was Pat from Moonachie, who had diabetes and lost a toe to it already. It was just sitting there. And then he continued to drink it.
Oh, yeah.
To do the bit that you came up with. I remember when people posted that video, everyone was saying, fake, this isn't real. And that made me enjoy it real. I was like, no, that was real, and I was there.
There was plastic bags all over the ground. Remember, they put plastic everywhere, all over the ground, because they knew that people were going to throw up. They had the garbage can ready. And then Pat Duffy leans his head over the edge of the garbage can. And then Pat from Moonachie just, here comes, you see him. And then it keeps coming. It keeps coming. It's like way crazier than
It was like
Stand
a
By
hydrant.
Me.
You just
yes.
went, and it just fucking came out, and then somebody kept shutting it off. And every time, I mean, it was like a...
There it is. There
dude,
it is.
I can't
You
watch
can't
this.
watch this?
I still can't tell the story. If I tell it in detail, I start gagging.
Illuminati. If you don't know, Bill produced an animated show called F for Family, which is loosely based on his own childhood. In the show, there's a lot of Illuminati symbolism and even a spray can that says false flag, which is when a political or military action is carried out with the intention of blaming an opponent for it. This has led some people to believe that Bill is trying to signal something to let others know and wake them up. In fact, one Reddit user said that at 21 minutes and 20 seconds into the first episode, Bill, the main character, walks outside of his house and looks up at the sky. We're shown the reflection of a plane flying through the sky on Bill's glasses. As soon as the plane's reflection disappears from his glasses, some sort of smoke/chemical fills the screen, and Bill begins coughing. We are then shown that the smoke/chemicals are coming from a mosquito control truck on the street, spraying pesticide. I believe that the plane's reflection was shown on Bill's glasses to first imply that the smoke/chemicals were being sprayed from it. Sort of a chemtrail reference. I thought I might have been reading too far into things, but I don't think I am when you consider the rest of the symbolism found throughout the episodes of the first season. Deleted episodes. Bill has been on the JRE podcast a total of 13 times as of recording, and he is actually one of the show's most popular guests. However, Bill has one episode that has been completely removed from the internet. Back in March 2011, episode 91 was released, and it had a bunch of funny moments, such as when Bill described how this incident still haunts him.
I was shooting a pilot for some show that never got picked up, and it was hilarious because what the hell happened? Basically, they wanted an edgy show. You know how these things always start. So we give them this edgy show. And right before we did the run-through, the Don Imus thing went down where he said nappy-headed hose. So the industry gets so terrified. It's not even just about radio. Now it becomes about this friggin' pilot. So they were already nervous about the jokes. So we went in there, and one of the first jokes was, I don't know, some homeless guy comes up and asks, me for some change. I'm the liberal guy. No, I don't want that. The other guy was the Republican guy. And he turns around and he flicks ice cream and it hits him right in the face. It was hilarious, right? So they freaked out, and then they didn't laugh at any jokes. So we're doing this run-through, and dude, I'm telling you, we're absolutely bombing. Okay, now to me, it's hilarious, and it's not even that big a deal because I've bombed horrifically by myself. I'm bombing with the group. It's funny.
Way easier.
Yeah, so...
After this complete disaster on the pilot, Bill and the other actors went back to Bill's hotel room, and the director of the show came to visit them.
The creators of the show all come walking in along with the director, and I'm standing up, I let him in the room. The fucking director comes back to the hotel, and everybody shows up to talk about it. And, the creators of the show all come walking in along with the director, and I'm standing up, I let him in the room. The fucking director comes walking in, sits down on my bed, and then reaches over, I had some peanuts there, and just grabs a handful and starts eating. And I just wanted to be like, yeah, dude, yeah, make yourself at home. Have some fucking peanuts. But I was so in that I'm going to get fired. I was trying to be a nice guy. And that's like one of those things that's slowly killing me. Because every once in a while, like, it was like years ago, I'll be driving down the highway and I just think of that motherfucker sitting down eating my goddamn peanuts. And I talked to you about it. And you were like, dude, that's like some alpha male shit.
This episode also had the iconic RSS feeds argument, which we covered earlier in the video. However, this episode has been removed as we mentioned. This was because Joe Rogan said this.
And he couldn't say.
Joe has since apologized for this and all other times he dropped the N-word, when this all came to light back in 2022. Compromised. In the deep depths of Reddit, it is rumored that Bill has been compromised. Once seen as someone who was woke and alert to the New World Order, he has flipped and switched sides. For example, Bill was very conspiratorial back when he was younger, as we addressed earlier in the video.
Fiance and I are moving into our first house on Friday. Any last-minute advice? Yes. Well, it's too late. You already bought a fucking house. My first thing would be drive less of a car. Wear less clothes. Everything less. And start knocking out the principal. All right? You got to start knocking that fucking thing down. And then once you knock it down to a certain point, then they're going to come at you and be like, hey, do you want to refinance? You want to refinance? Look, your mortgage payment will go from $1,500 down to $1,200. That'll save you $300 a month. That's all a fucking scam. Okay? Do you really think there's somebody who works at the bank and his job, and he's sitting there going, how can this bank make less money? Oh, I know what. I mean, how long would that guy work there before he got fired? It's a scam. Because what happens is if you're like 4 or 5 years into your mortgage, they're going to refinance it, and your payment doesn't go down $300 and you're still 5 years in. It starts back at zero. All right? Now you have that payment for 30 years, and you're starting all fucking over again. So the $300 that you're saving each month, they're making more in the fucking interest in the long run because they sent you back to square one. It's all a fucking scam.
But since he got married with someone who some people say is a social justice warrior, and remarks such as him being pro-mask is evidence he has switched sides.
Or not, have you gotten vaccinated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm up for it, too. And fucking assholes on my street, walking around no masks, not quarantining like the people that come by the houses. You see the fucking, the same people that were going in and out of the house who are not part of their family still going in and out of the house.
People believe that once you get that famous to the point where Bill currently is, you must willingly become compromised. Otherwise, they will never allow you to get so popular. Now, he is just a tool the powers above use to spread disinformation and sow chaos among the masses. If you want to learn more about Bill Burr and his monumental rise to the top, then click here to watch.